Hello, it's Sean, and you're listening to The 3-Month Vacation. So this is 2026, but until 2025, this is how I used to leave messages on anybody's voicemail. I would say something like, "Hi, comma, this is Sean, full stop. I wanted to let you know that we might meet tomorrow, comma, and then meet again next week, M dash, but only if you're okay with it, full stop." Surely that's the most odd message you've ever heard in your life, if you ever got one from me. And you notice there are lots of punctuation in that sentence in an audio message. This odd behavior began when I was using dictation for most of my communications. To be consistent and accurate, I had to put in all the punctuation so that it seemed like I was writing something down, because I was writing something down. Yet the experience of dictating was extremely frustrating. Now, before we go any further, let me stress that I use an iPhone and a Mac, and this advice is for those kind of users, not the rest of you who are wonderful, I'm sure. Anyway, we're in 2026, and dictation is worse on a Mac and an iPhone than it was back in 2010. Because back in those dark times, a program called Dragon Naturally Speaking existed, and this did an excellent job of enabling anyone to dictate quickly, and most importantly, very accurately. And then things changed for the worse, because you could no longer use Dragon Naturally Speaking on the Mac, and on the iPhone, well, you just had Siri, which, Siri being Siri, was Siri. Now we're in 2026, and if there's one tool that I recommend for this year and beyond, it's called Whisperflow. And I'm going to say that it's a normal dictation program, but there's nothing normal about it because it makes no mistakes. Even Google on Android will say that we're accurate 97% of the time. And this is the point that really rankles, because 97% of the time means that you make an error only 3%. But to find those 3 errors, I have to scan 97 additional words. With Whisperflow, the only time I've ever had a problem was when I was lazy with my speech. If I speak normally and reasonably clearly, it transcribes my words correctly 100% of the time. The funny thing is, I don't even have to speak loudly. On this podcast, I am speaking loudly, because I'm transmitting my voice. But with Whisperflow, you can literally breathe into the phone. That means you could be at a meeting and make lots of notes, or you could be in a crowded room, even at a party, and still have an absolutely accurate transcription. And unlike the other method, where I had to manually add punctuation, like full stops, commas, M dash, whatever, Whisperflow just adds it wherever applicable. It even makes lists, so I could go something like, let's go to the market, and here's what I need to buy. 1, tomatoes, 2, potatoes, 3, some milk, and it will list it for me, 1, 2, and 3, without me having to make any bullet points. Whisperflow has already saved me dozens of hours just in the early weeks of January. When I'm chatting with my friends on WhatsApp or another app like Messenger, I can very quickly dictate, and while they're still fiddling around with their keyboard, I have finished dictating half a book. I know, that's how I am. But as I head back to work and have to deal with dozens of emails, this is where Whisperflow helps me tremendously. I can answer an enormous number of emails and give all of the detail that is required. Normally, a single email might take me 4 to 6 minutes, but I can do it in under 30 seconds with Whisperflow. We also conduct courses, and there are regular assessments, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Once again, clients don't want a little bit of feedback, a little bit of praise. They want a lot. You want to give them lots of detail because that's what they look forward to. On any given day, I might have to deal with about 200 comments. And this quickly adds up to 3, 4, 5 hours of typing. With dictation, I can bring that down to a single hour. It gives me the gift of energy, most of all, and then time. This is the time that all of these devices have sucked up. In the last 20 years, we have been given this gift, so-called gift of productivity, but all it does is make us more busy than ever before. And you want to have time like you had before, where you were just wasting time, just spending time doing what you loved, like reading or sitting or doing absolutely nothing. Productivity by itself is pointless because if all the productive tools end up with you doing more work, that's kind of a dead end. But if productivity helps you waste more time, then that's why these tools were designed in the first place. And this is why we have a tool like Whisperflow. Does the software have any problems at all? It's not flawless. The list that, 1, 2, and 3, it doesn't always work despite my best intentions. And that's just one glitch. The second glitch is it fails to put a full stop at the end of the very last sentence because it's trying to detect whether you finished your thought or not. As you dictate, and as I'm speaking like this, it will put all the commas, full stops, everything absolutely correctly. But right at the end, it doesn't know whether you finished your sentence. So if you don't sound like you finished your sentence, then there's one little dot that you have to add just to keep things tidy. Other than that, it's a fabulous tool and something that I cannot do without. Even though I've been using it for just 5 or 6 weeks, the accuracy is so great because it not only speaks in English, which is my first language, and Whisperflow can switch between languages up to 100 languages. So I can go to Hindi or French. I could suddenly start to say, ¿Dónde está su coche? And it will correctly write it in the language. I could say, let's go to the supermarket, or allons au supermarché, vamos al supermercado. And then in Hindi, chalo supermarket chalte hai. Now, those were 4 separate sentences saying exactly the same thing in English, French, Spanish, and Hindi. And if I were having a normal conversation and I were to sprinkle in all of these words or whole sentences, it would go between all of these languages. And it can do, I think, about 100 different languages, which is pretty cool. I don't have to stop because it recognizes that I'm speaking another language. And I can use phrases that I would never be able to use otherwise. Like I grew up eating a snack on the street called vada pav, or I could say bhajia or paneer tikka masala, and it will write it correctly in the language. Or if you unspecify Hindi, then it will write it in English, correctly in English. That's what Apple has never been able to do before. And I doubt that other software is doing it. I haven't tested everything, so let me know if there's any difference, but I don't think anybody is doing this because this is using AI, as you would expect. Everything is using AI these days. And so it goes through its database very quickly and comes back with the correct spelling, and you don't have to fiddle with it. This fiddling has driven me crazy over the last 10 years or so. Just that 2% error rate, 3% error rate, it's very frustrating. The best part of this software is that if you change your mind while speaking, it will pick up the last idea you used, and you just have to use the word actually. If you were to say something like, let's meet at 7:30 today. Oh, actually, let's meet at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow. Normal transcription would have the entire sentence, which is the 7:30 today and the 8:30 tomorrow. But this software just strips everything and you just get one sentence, which is, let's meet at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow. Pretty cool. I know this message is just for those who use the Mac and the iPhone, which means that it is for now restricted to the Apple environment. I really don't know of any Android-driven devices that do the same. However, if you use the Mac or the iPhone, I would very strongly suggest that you try this tool out because you will be hooked within less than a day. Renuka was also a little skeptical about it. I installed it on her phone and she started using it consistently. And now she's asked me to make sure that it's on her computer as well. Productivity is not about doing something more. Productivity is about having more time to waste. And if you really want to be productive and you want to spend more time doing absolutely nothing, I suggest that you try this tool right away. There's a coupon code at the bottom and it gives you a month free. And if you continue, it gives me a month free as well. I don't get paid for it, but we both get one free month. That's cool. So check out the link below and you judge for yourself. And I think you will be amazed at how effective this software turns out to be for all of your day-to-day activities, for all your messages, your chats, or even social media, if that's what you're into. If I leave a message on your answer phone, I might still use all the commas and full stops. You might still end up with a message that says, "Hi, comma, this is Sean, comma." But maybe not. After using WhisperFlow, all of that punctuation has gone out of the door. So maybe I'll change in 2026 once and for all, and so will you. And that brings us to the end of this podcast. Let's find out what's happening in Psychotactics land. At the end of April, we will be having a strategy session in Frankfurt. This is going to be for 2 days. And if you want your business to head out in approximately the right direction, and I'm saying approximately because there is no right direction. We all make plans and then everything changes around us. But without the plans that we have, it's very hard to keep anything on course because then we're just pushed by external factors. This is just going to be for 2 days and for a maximum of 6 people. So we're going to have lots of time to spend with each other and also during the breaks, at breakfast, etc. If you're keen, we'll be sending out more information. I think you should take this time to spend these 2 days away from home, away from your email, away from work, and work on your business, set up the strategy, so that you can move forward beyond 2026, not just, oh, this is a new year and this is what we've got to do, but beyond 2026. This strategy session is going to be in Frankfurt. We're also going to have a meetup in Athens, Greece, and that's going to be in early April. All of these dates will be sent to you by email, so watch out for that email. And if you're in a big hurry, just send us a message and we'll give you more details. Why don't we have more concrete details now? Well, this is New Zealand. We close on the 20th of December and we don't open until a month later. And now we're open. We'll send you more details soon. Bye for now. Oh, and make sure to look for the link in your show notes. It's right at the bottom of this podcast. And if you're a member of 5000 BC, you'll read this article and you can click on the link. Bye-bye.